Okay, welcome to the APTA Grand Prix Tour presented by our national sponsors, Viking and Yuling. We're live with Philadelphia Cricket Club on the APTA network presented by eNet Live. I'm Mark Fischel along with Lisa Rudloff. We're about to see a terrific quarterfinal matchup between Czerwinkski and Graham McNerney. They're playing against Blake Anderson and Irdoja. Let's take a look at the bios of the players.
All right, we have Blake Anderson from Basking Ridge, New Jersey. Anderson is the director of rackets at Fairmont Country Club. We have Irdoja, his partner, from Essex Fells, New Jersey. And Irdoja is a director of racket sports at the Essex Fells
Country Club. Guys, before I do the introductions real quick, it's the same instructions you've gotten both times, which is you guys are responsible for making all your own calls. If you do want to question a call, make sure you don't just make eye contact. Make sure you ask verbally. If you want a call to be over, that's going to be questioned. Other than that, any questions? So I'm going to do introductions. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a quarterfinal round match. It's a best of 3 sets with tiebreakers. To my left in the ad court from Basking Ridge, New Jersey, Blake Anderson. His partner in the deuce court from Essex Fells, New Jersey, Irdoja. To my right in the deuce court from Lake Forest, Illinois, Czerwinkski, and his partner in the ad court from Chicago, Illinois, Graham McNerney. Czerwinkski-McNerney won the toss and elected to receive. Players ready?
So just finishing the intros.
Okay, Irdoja to start with the serve.
Right to left we have Irdoja serving in the white hat, his partner Blake Anderson in the blue cover. And on the far side in the deuce court is Czerwinkski, and he's playing with Graham McNerney. We'll talk about the players' relative strengths and weaknesses as play goes
15
on.
love.
I'll keep you up to date. If this looks like it's more anxious to switch over, then I'll come in and let everybody know. Right? You're going to need that now.
So Lisa, Irdoja is one of the most explosive players on the guys' tour. Huge forehand, great left-handed serve, big overhead. And his partner Blake Anderson, who was an assistant to Dave Broderick at the Short Hills Club, has made a real impact on the game quickly. Very fast around the court, good forehand. He and Martin Bostrom lost in the finals of the Paddle Player Open 2 weeks ago. Beat Orion Parsons in the semis. And they're playing against Graham McNerney from Chicago currently, or used to be of Atlanta. And Graham's a young guy, and he's got a lot of skill, and the game has really come on. There we go, we can't miss former Georgia Bulldog. See the teams kind of feeling each other out early. I'd be surprised if you don't see some drama from Irdoja. He's always falling down or hitting some spectacular shot. He's definitely a diva. Tremendous athlete.
Athleticism from all of the men this weekend has been fun to watch, especially as a fan of the game.
30 love. I'm sure I've told this story before, Lisa, but Irdoja accomplished one of the most remarkable athletic achievements I think I've ever heard. He spent 50 weeks as a tennis pro at Innis Arden, teaching tennis 40 hours a week. Flew home to Estonia to play Davis Cup, practiced for a week, and won a singles match in Davis Cup against the Turkish player who was top 400 in the world.
Wow.
And I can't stress to people enough how different the jobs are between a tennis pro and a professional tennis player. They're like a butcher and a baker.
Right.
They have nothing to do with each other. That's 40 love. You see that aggressive play from Irdoja at the net.
Nice spin serve from Irdoja. That lefty spin. It's never fun to be on the receiving end of that.
Yeah, Brad and I were talking about in the last match why the lefties generate so much more spin than the righties. Is amazing. And then the other question is, there are no lefties women.
Not in the not in the top.
That's remarkable.
I think one of the best one I ever played was Shea. Sherry Shea.
Sherry Shea, yeah. Scott
Game,
Slobo's
Anderson,
sister.
Irdoja, they lead.
But right now, are there any lefties in the top
No.
20, 30?
No. That is, yeah, that's interesting.
So Anderson Irdoja with a quick hold.
Yeah.
Just a gorgeous evening here. The sun is kind of set. Sky's illuminated. A sliver of a moon up there.
It's a beautiful facility. Big shout out to everybody here at the Philadelphia Cricket Club. Done an amazing job all weekend.
Scott Valatek and his team. Derek Yost. And there's some of the spin you see from McNerney.
McNerney serving. 15 love.
We should mention that McNerney won last week at Patterson, playing with Scott Kaler, who we missed dearly this week. Scott's first missed tournament in about 10 years.
Transitioning back, McNerney and
15.
Czerwinkski.
All.
See if that's a play that they're going to continue. I know McIndoya has a big forehand. So there's not a lot of safe places to hit.
Czerwinkski's probably the most accomplished player on the court. Having been to several quarterfinals and nationals.
15-30.
Chris Gambino.
I remember that match
That
against
epic
Broderick
match
and
in Philadelphia,
yes,
right here,
yep,
a couple years ago.
and Palmer.
3 match points.
He did.
$15-40.
Slow start for Czerwinkski McNerney. Big forehead from Irdoja. Great decision by Irdoja to get out of there. So McNerney winding up and just bailed.
So you think Anderson's looking for that forehand to
Game, Anderson, Irdoja.
hit big.
They lead.
Is that
2-0
correct?
in
Yep.
the first set.
Right now they're getting a bunch of errors from Czerwinkski McNerney.
Looks like this team is starting a little slow, but like you said, I think they're trying to feel their way out. I'd like to see how they got to this point and what matches they've had before. If they're a little tired, if they've had some quick matches, quick sets.
Blake
Like to
Anderson
see.
to serve. And Czerwinkski's got a huge forehand.
Okay.
Great
That
lob
nice
from
lob
Anderson.
that really opens up that court.
So here you see Irdoja and Anderson switched.
Yeah.
No intent to move back. The question is, how long will McNerney and Czerwinkski play the middle of the court?
Right.
Because the righty-lefty switched.
Right.
Right. Miss from Anderson.
Well, I think it would be a risky
Love 15.
proposition to be hitting into Mick's corner on the ad side. So his forehand is you're facing his forehand. I think it's important for teams to switch if you're capable of doing it. It's not always an easy thing. Some people are just more comfortable on one side, so switching up is very uncomfortable for teams.
Great slash from Anderson there, takes them to 15 all.
It's a nice high lob, so Irdoja had time to get back.
They are switching back to the regular size.
Good try by Blake Anderson.
15-30.
And to make something happen.
A little late on the decision making.
Yeah. Nice low return by McNerney in the ad court.
Oh.
Whoa,
30
there's
all.
a lefty for you.
Boy, did that ball move. Like a knuckleball pitcher.
It's a great spin by
Oh,
Irdoja.
that's some volley.
Oh.
Great get.
Wow. Oh,
30-40.
Amazing the shots that win points in platform tennis, the shots that lose points.
yeah. Sometimes you think you have them and you just don't. Wow, that's a big forehand by Czerwinkski in the deuce court.
Anderson
Okay.
catches the top of the tape.
Game,
It
Czerwinkski,
looks like a little
McNerney.
bit of an afterthought by
Anderson,
Blake.
Irdoja lead in the first set, 2 games to
Anderson.
1.
All right.
I
So
don't see much of a plan from either team yet, Lisa.
Yeah.
It just seems like they're playing their shots and just feeling each other out.
right, have this team of McNerney and Czerwinkski, are they a new team? Have they played together?
They have played together previously, they're both Chicago guys and part of the Chicago crew. They've been playing with different people, whether they can remain together the rest of the year. We'll see.
Okay.
After McNerney won last week with Kaler, I expect we'll see a little bit of them again.
Okay. And Anderson and Irdoja have played?
Again,
Are they a
new
new team?
They're going to be feeling it out as the year goes on, playing
Okay.
with different people.
Right. Which I think that's important as a player to play with different partners.
Matic Czerwinkski to serve. It's an unusual year in the men's game. Usually you don't see too many people switching around, and here it's everybody switched around. You
Right.
have maybe 3 teams in the top 10 stay together.
Right. But I think it's important. I think you see a lot of different shots. You start to realize things about your own game that you maybe didn't realize, things that you could do. Sometimes you get a little stuck with the same partner. It's healthy. What do you think the lob tactic of Anderson and Irdoja are with this team?
I don't see any strategy from them yet at all.
All right.
Very
see who
slow
they're-
pace of play, not a lot of driving.
McNerney has a ladder overhead hit where Czerwinkski, who we just saw hit that overhead, has a little bit more of a roller, takes it a little bit lower. That's
15 all.
patient play, great.
Irdoja making that move to the side wire that he's so good at.
He's waiting for that.
There's the speed of Anderson.
15-30.
Seeing Irdoja hitting down on the ball, blitzing in behind it. Great volley. Good positioning for McNerney.
Got McNerney back in the middle of that court, hitting most of the overheads. A little miscommunication there by
30 all.
Anderson and Irdoja.
Anderson made a move at the ball and then stopped and didn't really communicate.
Right. $30 all.
Well, that's
30,
the type of
40.
indecision that you pay for.
Yeah.
Either stay back, go in,
Come in.
but to go halfway in just puts yourself in such peril.
He slowed that serve down a little bit, gave him a little extra time to get into the net. Ooh, I think I'd stay away from that.
Game, Anderson or Irdoja. They lead 3-1.
Looks like that's
in the
what
first
Irdoja
set.
is just waiting for.
Yep, just luring him into it.
Wait.
So 3 breaks a serve and a hold for Irdoja, and we're 3-1 first set.
Great balance from Irdoja on at the net.
Love 15.
The ball has such movement on it.
15 all.
Not much offense being generated right now from Czerwinkski and McNerney.
There's a little bit. There was a drive from Czerwinkski in the deuce court. Changed the pace of play. It's a great lob. But again, I'd like to see them step up and put a little pressure on Irdoja and Anderson. There we go. I like this. I like this pressure. Nice roller by Irdoja in the corner to McNerney. One-handed
15-30.
backhand
Likes
roller.
that one-hand flick,
Wow.
doesn't he?
That's not an easy thing to do in this game. Mm.
30 all.
See McNerney inching up. I like that. I like that play. I like that McNerney was
30-40.
already inside the court.
Great control drive from
Yes.
Czerwinkski enabled
Yeah.
him to do that.
Right? I think they need to put that pressure on. They need to make something happen here. It's fun to watch those spins in the middle. How the team of McNerney and Czerwinkski just know. Looks like it's heading over to McNerney on the outside. And
2-1 Rose and Rose versus Grangiero and Wilkinson first set. Our last quarterfinal. Sure, this is not much.
Okay.
oh,
And there we go.
Caught
We
him
get
off
the
guard.
break back.
Czerwinkski, McNerney, Anderson,
3-2 Anderson,
lead the
Irdoja.
First set,
Okay.
3 games to 2.
Let's take a quick look at the draw to see where these teams fit. So you see the winners of the Rose Grangiero Wilkinson match play the winner of this match tomorrow morning at 9. And Brurstoy Savlovich already through. They'll play the number 1 seeds, Uriah Parsons, who've looked very impressive so far. Okay, back to the match. A lot of talking going on in between Czerwinkski and McNerney. I think they're talking about whether they're going to go get dinner, Lisa?
oh no. I think that McNerney and Czerwinkski have to put a little pressure on this team of Anderson and Irdoja. I think this could change it up a little bit. I liked when McNerney kind of stepped in a little bit, looked for some blitz, and try to get Czerwinkski to hit some of those big forehands, especially on the return. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Did you say McNerney's more of the setup guy on this team? Which I feel is, I'm not too sure.
I'd only say that because
Love
Czerwinkski
15.
swings at a lot of balls.
Uh-huh.
I would not describe Grant McNerney as a setup guy.
Setup guy, okay.
Got a lot of talent, a lot of game. But that's part of playing with a new partner.
Right.
Tries
all.
to miss. You don't expect Blake Anderson to miss a relatively routine ball in the wires. 3-2 first set.
Could have been an opportunity there.
Hey, Lisa, after we had the privilege of watching the Araya Parsons Durant Mitchell match together, everything else looks like it's in slow motion.
Right.
I mean, that match was spectacular.
It was. It was a true display of athleticism by all four men on the court. And it's fun to watch. As a fan of the game, it's really fun to watch their abilities and what they can do. Wish I had half of their talent.
It's a big forehand from Anderson.
But again, Graham did a really good job. McNerney did a very good job of keeping that ball low so they could get back up to the net.
Good spike from Anderson. And then McNerney handled the transition
15-40.
poorly. It was clearly a ball to lob.
Put that up, start again. Sometimes you get frustrated that you do something like that in the point and you want to try to pull the trigger. It's a good call. It's when your opponents hit that nick, that corner ball, it's always important for your partner to be in the middle of the court.
30-40.
Great shot. Let's take a replay look at that after the game. McNerney's got a tremendous serve to the edge court, doesn't he, Lisa?
He does.
Fires it in there.
Staying away from that Irdoja forehand. Here he comes. Here comes Blake Anderson up to the net. Wondered if Czerwinkski knew that was happening to help McNerney.
McNerney did not play that transition very well. He was lucky to survive the first shot. Off the lob, Anderson was on top of the net. He continued to drive the ball. 4-2, first set.
15 love.
Anderson. It's a great pickup by Blake Anderson. Looks like play speeding up a little bit now.
Couldn't get any slower.
Yeah. Well, a little bit faster.
Yes, again,
reaching
McNerney
volley.
gets beaten in transition.
30
Yeah.
love.
Great backhand from Anderson.
Oh, ball didn't come out of the screen
40 love.
the way Czerwinkski thought it was going to.
Point for 5-2. There it is, 5-2.
Anderson,
Irdoja.
They
Very
lead
quick game.
5-2.
It's a very important
First
game.
set,
The
ball change.
7th game of a set.
Here's that spectacular shot we saw earlier. Right back into the net from Czerwinkski.
What you can do with that.
And they'll serve to stay in the
Right.
set at 2-5. We're going to have a special guest joining us in the booth, Lisa. One of the top 5 French paddle players of all time. Max LePivert. Max, how you feeling? A little
15
tired?
love.
Yeah, had a 3.5 hour first round. I feel really good right now.
And are you guys still live in the back draw, I assume?
We're alive, still standing.
When is your next match? You playing tomorrow?
No.
No,
Playing
you're playing tonight.
As soon as Gambino and Burka get out of their 3-hour match, they were playing Baxter and Held.
Okay. So they'll be a little tired as well.
I think they'll be tired.
Yeah.
And how you feeling? Your hip's been bothering you, I know.
Hip's not as bad this year, but it's better. I'll be ready.
That was a tremendous match we got to see earlier against Irdoja Parsons.
I know. Juan, you know, I think this is my 19th loss to Juan. It's getting hard. He played it well.
At least
Are they
he
better
doesn't revel
losses?
in it.
No. There's no such thing as
No
a good
better
loss.
loss.
And at least he doesn't rub your face in it.
He will.
Yeah, that second set was just spectacular
Was.
battle.
That was good fun. We always have good battles.
I really liked your court positioning, how shallow in the court you were playing, taking the ball early and lobbing the ball off the deck. I thought that turned the match around.
Yeah, that was in the second set. We started closing in on the angles, and
40
Juan kind
love.
of fell for it for a little bit.
And then you kind of got away from it. When you were preventing the ball from getting to the back wires, you really had them on a rope, moving them
Yeah.
around, creating space.
Yeah, they started playing the middle of the court, and then we got impatient. You know, just lesson learned. Made some errors.
Czerwinkski, McNerney.
You played one game I'm
Anderson,
sure you'd like to
Irdoja lead
forget,
5,
which I'll
3 in
be
the
kind
first
enough
set.
to remind you
The
of.
4-0 game.
Yeah, the 4-0 game.
Yeah.
Just
Two
a
faults.
complete donation. Yeah, 2 faults.
Brutal. This is a good match here. What's your take on
Love 15.
the players?
Haven't seen a lot of offense generated from Grant McNerney.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
Just kind of out there. I don't know whether playing with Czerwinkski's changed the style, because that's certainly not how we played last week in Connecticut. So Irdoja is serving for the first set here. So wild running
Love
forehand.
30.
Doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to what either team is doing. Just kind of out there trying to keep the ball in safe spots, not doing much.
Love 30.
The challenge today is it's so warm. It's hard to put the ball away, do anything. You know, you got to catch players in transition. It's hard to win traditional points. You know, it takes forever.
It's hard to catch a Rye in transition.
Yeah.
He just loves that game.
Oh,
Wow.
Nice.
That's nice.
Graham's made some big improvements these last 2 years. He's playing really well.
Really playing well.
Saw him play last week at Patterson, and
Got the snowboard
looks
on
like a
that show.
different player.
40.
Got a full hut here, a lot of background noise.
Beautiful night.
Irdoja serving, love 40. So Max, what's your next event?
Probably Chicago. Yeah.
I understand you're playing with the Argentine there, so you're less likely to lose to him.
It's a good chance I probably won't lose to him. at least that week.
15, 40.
Looked like Czerwinkski tried to let that ball go through him, and he just got caught.
Like everything except his right arm wanted to let the ball go through. 5-2, Rangiero Wilkinson, first set against the Rose brothers.
A more special new employee, little Timo Araya.
Yeah.
It's a nice volley from below the net.
Max, I know you played against Irdoja numerous times. What kind of challenges does he present for you?
He's got a lot of spin. He mixes it up really well. You know, he's got that heavy roller, and then he hits the cutter. There it is. He's really able to control the court with his overhead. Sometimes suffers from lack of patience, but he's a hard player to play. I really like them together. Blake is so steady. You know, he doesn't ever go away, no matter what the score.
And have you played against Czerwinkski?
Played Czerwinkski a few times. Big forehand. Yeah, he's a smart player. He's got a lot of spin.
He's fairly new to the game as well.
I think he's a couple
Guess
years
a couple
in,
years.
yeah. Played with Gambino for a while, and I think Gambino helped him a lot.
Right.
He's a good player to play with. Smart.
Take a shout out to Liz Jaffe. She taught him the game. She introduced him to
Oh, I
it.
didn't know that.
Yeah, she did.
30-40.
Great forehand there from Anderson. Takes him back to 30-40.
That's a great pickup.
So
Irdoja
much
was going down
athleticism
there.
on the court. These guys are all great athletes.
Whoa. Like he tripped up on his feet.
Bad
Irdoja.
decision there by Mick.
McNerney.
Not just
Anderson,
really
Irdoja
official
leads
until Mick goes
5-4
down at
first
least
set.
once. He's got to dive. There's got to be some histrionics. I was telling
I think
Lisa what a diva he is.
Looks like the players are still trying to feel each other out. I don't
Yeah.
think we got into the thick of the match.
It's an odd match.
And it's
the business
5-4.
end of the set. Just you don't really get a sense of anybody trying to do anything other than just keep the ball safe. There's no
Right.
real strategy out there.
I agree. Can't really tell what they're doing, but throwing a few jabs, but no real strategy.
So McNerney will serve to keep them in the first set.
Serving for 4-5.
Well, that's a tremendous backhand. That was a low ball. He hit it with a lot of pace.
Just a couple of volleys which Czerwinkski likes to hit a little further back. He's got great hands. It's not an easy thing to do.
So Max, take us through your day. You had that easy first match. You were down
We were
6-1, 5-1. Is that right?
15-40.
Were you really? Double match point. Wow.
Double match point.
Wow.
And then went down in the third set.
So we'll hold it. So you obviously came back in the second set. Tell us about that.
Came back. Tie break. Very ugly paddle.
Score in the tiebreak?
Maybe 8-6.
I heard a 10-8.
Maybe.
Oh.
I don't remember really.
got around the net
And then we
post.
go down
115.
3-1, 5-3 in the third.
So he had all the
Wow.
momentum and then kicked it away, went down 5-3.
We led one time. Yeah. Our first lead was at 6-5 in the third set. But you know
took
what? Credit to
advantage.
KC. We both played really poorly. The other team played great, and we just hung in there. So KC didn't give up on anything. That was great.
Well, I talked
like a
about
gritty
when
player.
we were streaming the match what great competitors you guys both are.
Got to play every point. Like you said, the hardest thing in this game is closing matches.
There he goes. Wow. Wow.
Okay, it's an
Okay.
official match now.
Yeah. So this is a common thing he does, a common theme.
15 all.
Beautiful setting here with the sun going down.
Packed house.
Bad error
30,
there by
15.
Blake. Little impatient.
I'm not even sure what he was trying to do there.
Yeah, I feel like they haven't really figured out where their offense is coming from.
Yeah, I expected to see Blake lobbing down the line more, trying to set up the big Irdoja forehand, but we haven't seen very little of that.
great get.
Another bad miss by
bad
Blake.
mistake.
Game, Czerwinkski, McNerney,
Okay, well,
5-all in the
5-all.
first set.
Feeling a little momentum switch towards McNerney and Czerwinkski.
Three
Playing a little
games in a row.
smarter.
15 love.
So Grangiero, Wilkinson are up 5-4. Looks like they'll be serving for the first set over the Rose brothers.
it's a great drive by Czerwinkski. Oh, again,
15
another
all.
loose ball error.
Blake
By
Anderson kind
Anderson.
of left the building.
Look for Czerwinkski
An
and
overhead.
McNerney to pick on him a little here.
Oh, wow.
30,
Serve was
15.
very close. You see Czerwinkski pointing at the line.
Great change of pace of overheads by Irdoja and Anderson. Getting them scrambling.
Next, how do you see the rest of the weekend going? Do you think anybody's able to beat Irdoja and Parsons? Are they big favorites?
I don't know if they're big favorites, but they're playing well. The one thing with those guys, you get a few errors. You know, they go through stretches.
Blake.
They're certainly so talented, but I think any of these teams can beat them. Just
Okay.
It's all about matchups.
30 all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're clear favorites. They're good.
You get to see any of the match against Durant Mitchell?
No, I got a little bit of a
30,
someone
40.
kind of give me the background of what happened. Tight first set and then quick second set.
No.
No?
Second set was really competitive. Parsons had a great hold at 4-3 in the second.
Got it.
It was just an absolute war of a game.
7-6
They're winning at
first
6-3,
set.
7-6, 6-3.
Ah.
The second set was anything but quick.
Right.
Heard Mitchell was getting caught a little bit, shifting and
Mitchell played pretty well.
He did.
yeah.
It was
For those guys to
unbelievable
be
match.
really good.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been a semis and nationals. It's just so good to see Johan out here playing.
I agree. The
Get a lot
game
of
over the
energy.
years got so much deeper. The matches were so good at the early stages of the tournament.
As you dealt with this today.
Case in point,
First set, Grangiero Wilkinson, 6-4.
another bad error.
A
Do
little
you
bit of a
think that-
blurt there.
Max, do you think that affected you in your match?
Yeah, it was certainly. I mean, playing 3 hours and then barely had a chance to eat lunch, and then we're right back out there. It's hard, but
It is.
we brought it on ourselves. So,
Right.
but it's certainly affecting the way the tournaments are played. Fitness is playing a much bigger part.
Right.
I remember when I first started playing,
Right.
the top guys getting into the semis and
In like a flash.
in a flash.
Right.
They're
Right.
at lunch by 10:30,
Right.
and now it's anybody's game.
Right. I think
So
that
I-
makes
I-
the game exciting.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
But you
see
said fitness, and it's difficult.
a lot of these guys train in the off season just to make sure they're lift some weights on their legs and make sure they're fit and able
do
to
that?
last for a while.
Do you do that?
Yeah, maybe not as much as I should.
It's easy. It's difficult with everything
It's-
that you're doing. You're working. You're
Yeah, and the game
Teaching.
we're having to professionalize the game. It's become a full-time job if you want to be good.
right.
all these guys practice. They get their reps in, and it's changed a lot. I like it. It's great. So many talented players and a lot of young guys coming up.
Right.
I think Graham is a good example. I think he's mid-20s.
Yeah.
Hughes and Powers, mid-20s. So many good guys.
Right.
Makes the game way more exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. The game has changed tremendously since when I started. And it's changed again in the last few years.
Sure.
It's really fun to watch. But like you said, very difficult. There's no breezing through anymore. And you kind of banked on that a little bit. When I first started,
we took it for granted.
Yep.
It's not like that anymore.
Right. Again, I'm not really seeing.
Yeah, the construction is not
right.
It's all over the place. It doesn't look like they have a specific strategy when they're playing.
No. I mean, they are trying to keep it away from
mixed
forehand, but which is very smart.
That's a good shot.
That's a great shot.
Taking that off the
Advantage,
deck.
Czerwinkski.
Do you see anything Anderson's
McNerney.
trying to do when he's lobbing the ball?
No, he should be moving a lot more. But he likes to play. He plays slow, and then once in a while just gives you a really good drive. But he hasn't really set it up today. He's a very smart player.
I think he should be lobbing a little bit more down the line so he can get
set himself up.
Yep. Well, himself or Irdoja.
Or his partner. Yep.
Right.
Actually, when Casey was switching sides in the backcourt late in the match, was that a function of Casey just being tired at that point?
He was getting beat up by Juan's overheads for a little bit. I think he was a little tired, and Juan was hitting it really well, so it was giving us different looks. Our goal was to get him to hit to the corners and try to hit down on the ball and catch them off guard.
It's really nice cuts.
That's better. Yep. Good shot, Mick. They have to rely on that shot way more. It takes Czerwinkski out of play. You can't do a whole lot without. That cutter is really efficient.
I like how McNerney came in before Czerwinkski even hit that return. Oh,
For you.
unfortunate.
Should say a hard-hitting overhead.
Anderson, Irdoja.
McNerney had a perfect description for that shot as he anguishedly cried, "Moron."
Stay.
Max, so you got to go. You have to prepare for your 8 o'clock match.
Game,
Yeah, I think I've got
Anderson,
4 more
Irdoja.
matches
They
tonight.
lead
I'll be here till
6-5
3 in the morning.
first set.
Okay, maybe we can grab a early breakfast.
Are you gonna come watch?
Absolutely.
I'd like you to come commentate my
I
match.
always like to watch your matches, Max.
It's been a lot of fun, guys.
We'll bring you a
Well,
cup of coffee
Yes,
at about 2.
I'm gonna need it.
Max LePivert, one of the top
Good luck.
5 French paddle players. Okay, I think we're going to get another guest who's a little quieter than Max, very withdrawn,
What do I have to say?
doesn't have a lot to say about anything, doesn't have strong opinions about anything. Do we have a disclaimer we can read?
Yeah.
Okay, Juan Irdoja is joining us.
Hello.
Got plenty of airtime today, Juan. A couple of spectacular matches.
Yeah, fun, a lot of fun.
How'd you like the way you played?
Love 15.
I like the way we play in the round of 16 better. The matches against Johan are always crazy, and it's like playing mini tennis on steroids. It's like crazy. It's hard to slow it down, and then you try crazy shots. You hit some great ones, some
15
really
all.
bad decisions. He makes you make the bad decisions. He forces you to do that. So overall, it was a great day. We're still, a working process with Mark. We're still trying to figure out things, but so far it's been fun.
you've hit about 95% of the overheads in that match.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, that's something that people think that I love taking all the overheads, and I do like hitting the overheads, but I don't like to take 95%. I would like to take a lot less than that, and I think that Mark
like
is
what,
used
93, 92%?
No, I would like to go down to an 80%. The truth is, Mark
30.
is used to playing with Johan, and Johan does hit 97%. So there are many times that we get caught on the right side where I would like him to maybe roll his backhand or something instead of moving completely to the right. So those are things we still have to figure out, and then so far so good. I can't complain. We're only gonna get better.
Right.
It was fun watching.
Yeah, it was a great match to watch.
Thanks.
I said to Lisa when we watched that match, as we get to
15-40.
double set point here, that the quality of that match could have been the semis and nationals.
Which one? The 16?
The second one, the one against Johan.
Yeah, it was fun. It was, like I said, it was very, very active. A lot of fast pay points. But then you have a matchup like Casey Watt and Max, who can get to everything. I mean, I think that there were points that I hit 7 winners on each point, and the ball kept coming back. It's something crazy, and I think that I actually played a lot better in that match than in the second one.
You did.
But it's to Johan's credit, he makes you play crazy. So I still think he's one of the best players out there.
So I know that you used to have a rule when you played against Johan.
Yeah.
When Johan hit the ball through, you would not drive the ball.
Yeah, I broke that rule so many times.
So many times today. I was wondering about that.
Yes, I broke that rule. Like, as you know me very well, I'm very hard at sticking to the rules. But today was kind of some idiotic decisions. But again, it's just because I know Mark likes driving the ball. So I wouldn't mind driving out the back wire, knowing that if the ball went through us again, he could drive it back. But it wasn't the case. Johan was all over the net, and that's why I was getting a little annoyed, because, well, it doesn't take too much for me to get annoyed.
30-40.
But I don't know. It was a fun matchup, and I think we can play a lot of good matches. I mean, these styles are fun to play against each other.
You were the difference maker in that match. 100%.
I don't know if I was. I think that Mark hit some amazing shots that gave me a little bit of confidence.
He also served a terrific game at 4-3 in the second set. You're down 4-3, 15-40, and you're down numerous break points. And that was the game that kind of turned the match. And once he held, you won the last game relatively easily.
Yeah, it was a good game. I mean, we knew once we won that one that we were in good shape.
I was very impressed with Steve Mitchell.
Very good. I mean, the only thing that I thought I could break him with was that spin to the back wire, but then all of a sudden he started really bad, and I'm like, okay, so what do I do now?
You could almost see him getting better as the match went on.
Yeah.
A couple of questionable decisions, but really I was very impressed.
He volleys really well.
He does.
I mean, I at the beginning I was telling Mark to make him volley a little bit, because he was popping some volleys up. But as the match progressed, he started sticking the volley, so it was hard to blitz, and it was really hard to take the net from those guys.
Juan, how do you feel about your son working for the APTA as an official spotter and score reporter?
I love it. I'd say the APTA has become my favorite babysitter. And the cheapest, by the way.
Back to the match at hand. It's set point number 2. We're in another long grinding point. A couple of really questionable decisions by Mick Irdoja the last 2 points.
I think both Blake Anderson and Graham McNerney have raised their level from an 8 to a 10 this season. It's great to see how much better they got. while he misses a forehand volley.
Irdoja.
But anyways, I mean, Graham played unreal last weekend. There were no holes in his game. And I played Blake a few weeks ago, and he was amazing as well.
Who are the other young players out there you've been impressed with, Juan?
Tyler Fraser. He's actually Timo's favorite player. He likes Tyler Fraser's game better than mine. That kind of gets me jealous, but it is what it is. So Tyler Fraser is really good.
And what about him do you like?
I love the way he plays. He's very active. He volleys well. He likes the fast-paced game. I honestly dislike the slow game.
Yeah.
It's
not your personality.
It's just not fun to play against, but it's also not fun to watch.
Right.
I mean, you get points like that are active, and I think that those are fun matches to watch. When you see somebody loving a million loves, I mean, if you're on the other side of the net, you're not having a good time for sure.
Right.
But watching also, it's hard to watch a match like that,
Right.
unless you really know the sport and you understand why they're doing it. For example, I totally dislike baseball. I don't like baseball, but the reason why I don't like baseball, I think it is because I didn't grow up playing it, so I don't know really what the strategy behind it is and all that. I don't think the sport is a bad sport. I mean, people love it, but in my case, I just don't understand it.
Right.
Like, I know many Americans don't like soccer, and I love soccer.
I think that's a little slow-paced for me.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But it's mainly because it's part of my culture. I mean, like, I know baseball is...
Right.
This will be set point number 5 for Anderson Irdoja.
I think Blake
Anderson's
is
gonna
ripping
rip.
this
Yes,
one
he's
across.
going to rip this.
Oh, he lets
well,
it. Oh, he ripped it.
Yes,
and
he
he
did.
won.
Game in first set, Anderson Irdoja.
Wow.
We'll be right back in just a moment
timing.
after these messages right here on the APTA Network, presented by eNet Live.
Give a little bit.
At Amazon, we've got millions of toys and games to choose from this holiday for kids of all ages, with free shipping on over 100 million items. So visit Amazon and give a little love this holiday.
When it's your job to protect the world's greatest nation, it's your responsibility to solve the world's greatest challenges. This is why we search for the best and brightest, why we train for every eventuality, on land and water, in the air, space, and even cyberspace. We operate in a complex world with one simple mission: win.
Okay, welcome back to the APTA Grand Prix Series. We just watched the first set of this quarterfinal match between Blake Anderson and Mick Irdoja, playing the Grand Slam McNerney and Czerwinkski. First set to Anderson Irdoja, and we're going to go from one extreme to the other. We've lost Juan Araya, and we're joined by Scott Bondurant, so in my book, that's a huge upgrade. Scott, you want to talk? Welcome to the booth.
Thank you very much, Mark. This is great to be here at the kickoff to the Grand Prix Series this year.
And we should say you're the president of the APTA.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And
Scott, you want to talk a little bit about some of the APTA initiatives that are going on?
Yeah, we're excited about a ton of things. I would really highlight the tennis scores deals that we have. So they are a premier league scoring website, and they already have been in use by a number of leagues and get rave reviews. And we think it's an opportunity to connect with all the APTA leagues around the country. And and I think it's a way where we can communicate better with all of our league members and provide a nice service to them, And on top of that, we're really excited about this paddle tennis index. So basically, this is a derivative of universal tennis rankings, which is something for the tennis world that is taken the world by storm over there. And what it does is provide every player with an index, so to speak. So it's an analogy there is to golf, and it takes all of your matches. It factors into who you played with, who you played against, what the scores were, and so this will take a while to really play out. But in Boston, the men's league up there have used it and really like it, and they had
that side. I think that might be the ball right there.
An event up there where they divided all the entrants into 6 different series, and literally every series had really competitive tournaments, and so it kind of showed that it really works. So we're excited about that.
Scott, just to interrupt you for 1 second. We're starting the second set. Irdoja will be serving. They won the first set 7-5.
So I just say it's also really exciting here to see all the new teams. So not quite a new slate of new teams, completely new slate, but almost.
Right. And the guys' side, 7 of the 8 seeds were new teams.
And just fun to see the new dynamics, right?
Yeah.
They're all looking at, we've seen over the years a lot of the same top teams, and they play the same way, and it's really fun and great.
Right.
But to see the new mix is really fun.
And it's
Well, I thought the women's tournament yesterday was really exciting with the finals today. To see the one-up, one-back that Floor Hanisch and Annika van Starnberg played was really exciting, and the paddle was just tremendous.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so new on the women's side to see that.
Well, I don't think we've seen that anywhere.
No.
And it was really effective.
Well, like we were saying earlier, Durant and Parsons used to do that one-up, one-back scenario, and the women never really took to it. And Starnberg and Hanisch did it, actually, because of the sun yesterday. So it wasn't really something they were thinking about until the sun was a factor, and then the sun came in and it was working, so they did it on the non-sunny side. And then they did it pretty much exclusively today with huge success.
Yeah, and they kind of took a variant on the on Johan and Parsons, because you had one that stayed completely back, right?
Yeah,
and
but Van Starnberg's ground strokes or strokes from the back are brilliant. Keeps it so low.
Well, it's fun to see new strategies get developed, and the rest of the women's world have to figure out how to combat that.
Right. Some of them that they played this weekend were just at a loss.
30 love.
Didn't know what to do.
Especially when they play that well.
Right. Well, that too. Yeah. I don't think they made more than 5 mistakes in that match.
They were super. That's great.
Scott, any other APTA initiatives you want to talk about?
Well, we continue to grow our leagues all over the country, and special welcome to the New Jersey, North New Jersey MIPL world. Thrilled to have them, and that's a really neat thing for us. And the Boston Women's League joined, and I know Detroit is in the wings to join, and I think Indy's thinking about joining as well. So all that is really neat to get kind of all the leagues around the country under the one Big Ten.
Dorian Anderson continuing their good play here. You got to see him really play today. You hadn't seen previously. You were real impressed by.
I'll tell you what. I think Johan's partner, Steve, played really solid ball.
Steve Mitchell.
Right? I knew he's a good talent, but he held his own, in the highest quality.
He did.
Against the highest quality play.
Yeah. That's what Juan Araya was saying. He got some free points early on, and he just got better.
I got a feeling he's going to get better throughout the course of the year as well.
That was some match, wasn't it?
It really was. really high quality stuff.
Well, Irdoja was almost on the ground again there, Mark.
What's a set, Lisa? Certain ratios that have to be maintained.
I'm seeing a little bit more activity.
I've loved watching Mike Stulak and Scott Estes as well as Peter Burke and Chris Gambino making their way through the back draws. 6 national championships between the 3 of them.
Yep.
And they're out there just grinding and grinding.
They lead the second set, 1 game.
Give them a lot of credit for that, and just great competitors.
All right, well, 1-love, Anderson and Irdoja. And they're up a sets, 7-5 in the first.
Interesting to see if Czerwinkski and McNerney start making some adjustments.
I think they need to put a little pressure on
What would you have them do,
and
Lisa?
Irdoja. I think when they were stepping up, moving up into the court, making Anderson and Irdoja think where they needed to put that ball, I think they had some success. I like the blitz. I'd actually like to see Czerwinkski blitz.
He tends to play very deep in the court.
Yeah. And I'd like to see the opposite of that. But
and Gerald Wilkinson up 3-1, second set. As they head for a semifinal berth in their reunion tour.
So a couple more thank yous before I leave here. So Falatek and gang have doing a great job here in Philly.
Sure are.
The women had a wonderful kind of party atmosphere last night, and then it's the same thing here, and they're really enjoying it, and you can tell Philly paddle is just booming. Lots of new courts, new facilities all over the place, a lot of enthusiasm. Just wonderful. And then want to thank the ENET crew, doing a fantastic job, and Jerry and you guys and the crew, and it's really a neat thing that we've got going, and we want to keep it going, and I think we're off to a great start here, and looking forward to a wonderful season.
wow, did you see that get from Irdoja in the corner? Wow. Can we get a replay on that? Fantastic serve. McNerney really has a great serve to that ad court. Change up overhead. Very smart from McNerney. Really opens up that court. That ball drop really low. Can't get offensive with that low ball. Oh, wow.
Game Czerwinkski McNerney.
Game Czerwinkski McNerney. Games are 1-all. Second set. We're going to take a look at that spectacular get that you requested, Lisa.
Yeah. Was blocked a little bit by Czerwinkski. Oh, wow.
New ball.
Against the back wire.
Right, oh.
Just misses it long. Okay, back to live action. We're switching balls.
Yeah.
Scott, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
great
you.
work with the APTA.
Super. I'll let you get back to doing your job. Thanks, guys.
Nice athletic move there by Irdoja.
Might have been better if he fell down.
I would really like to see Anderson lob a few more balls down the line.
30.
It's surprising how little of that he's done.
Yeah, I feel like this is why this match hasn't really taken off. We haven't seen that explosiveness. He's not playing into the strengths of his partner.
And yet they managed to win the first set.
And they did.
All of a sudden, a couple of big forehands from
Right.
McNerney that we haven't seen at all.
Right. Like I said, it feels like they're getting a little bit more active out here. But again, I'd like to see McNerney and Czerwinkski push up. I like where McNerney's standing right now. That's a great spot. Right
30,
hip.
40.
That drive, as we were talking earlier today, the men do that so well. Really pick their spots. Very difficult to volley a ball.
Wow.
It's tight on
3
that right hip.
big
Game,
returns from
Czerwinkski,
McNerney in a row.
They lead
Right.
the second set 2-1.
Well, now's the time.
Looks like the match is turning a little bit.
Just a little change of pace. Get Irdoja and Anderson a little out of their comfort. And they've gotten some mistakes out of Anderson in that corner, which I guess is surprising. He's a steady player.
Looks like Grangiero and Wilkinson are rolling on the next court.
Do we have a score on that?
Last score I heard was 3-1.
And
I'm sure Timo Araya
Second
will be
set?
back with a score soon. Yep, they
who
won
took
the
the
first
first?
set. Grangiero Wilkinson took first.
Okay, Czerwinkski to serve at 2-1 in the second set.
That is a weird formation they were in there, Lisa. I mean, playing Australian and serving from the alley. You see what advantage you could have from that?
Not really.
He seems to be baiting Irdoja to hit the ball down the line, but I'm not sure why.
Right. Great coverage. Always want your partner to be covering that middle when it gets close to that corner neck. Ah, it's a great volley
from
right on the
Irdoja.
outside of the line by
Love
Irdoja.
15.
It's amazing. Every time one team starts playing better, the level raises, they kind of drop a little bit.
Yeah,
Although that was the blitz you've been looking for from Czerwinkski there.
right. Again. Down the line, Blake.
He's got one of the best forehands in the game next to him.
Here we go.
Irdoja got a swing there, but that was not thanks to the Anderson lob.
Right. McNerney got out very well on that transition. Didn't panic. Lobbed that ball back up, started the point again. Same thing, yeah, I like that down the line lob as well. From McNerney. Would you like to see Czerwinkski playing in this ad side? These players are still a little new to me.
Great
Love
position volley
30.
from Anderson. Had his paddle up, ready, able to react and
Whenever
get
you
that volley
blitz,
down the line.
whenever you blitz, you always want those hands in front.
Same formation again?
I don't understand. Let's see where he goes. Okay.
15-30.
Well, he's
Work.
going out wide. He knows he has to return cross court. McNerney stayed in that cross court. Okay. Oh,
30 all.
it's a rare mistake. See a little bit more movement. Let's see if we do this again. Let's see where McNerney moves to. Okay. Maybe like to see if Irdoja could hit that down the line.
He took the
Turn.
first one down the line, wide open. All he had to do was float it.
Or match is over on with Grangiero and Wilkinson.
Yeah,
I
looks like they're
believe.
through.
Okay. And I like that down the line lob by Anderson.
The
If they-
6-4, 6-1 with the scores.
But I
Grangiero,
like
Wilkinson.
that down the line by Anderson, because even if they can't get it, or they don't put it, if McNerney and Czerwinkski don't put it to Irdoja's forehand, you still have that potential for drive from Anderson. Oh, that is a fantastic get. Replay.
Tremendous.
40-30.
Looks like Anderson's a little tired after that get.
40-30.
$40-30?
Yep.
Oh, loose return.
Game, Czerwinkski, McNerney,
Okay.
they lead the second set 3-1.
A little bit of a turn of momentum. I think you were right. There was some momentum shift. One serving 3. That's a great cut.
15
That's a
love.
great cutoff. You see those signals by Anderson where he wants the Irdoja to serve that ball.
All.
Great spin there from McNerney. This is the arrow from Anderson. Think we're going 3, Lisa?
I think we may be.
Great patience by Irdoja, waiting for that ball to come off the wires.
I also like to see a little bit more movement from Anderson. Have him go a little bit more to the left, so you can see that forehand a little bit more.
It just doesn't seem to have any intent to
Right.
move over there and hit it.
Right. Oh,
McNerney was
30-15.
lining up to really slash that ball. And Czerwinkski decided he'd take a backhand swing at it. Good way to get your wrist broken.
40-15.
After some big forehands last game to break. Not much this game.
like this good. I like that downline return because it got caught in the time before where Blake Anderson crossed and dropped him. And then they missed the return, the next return. Changed up the return down the line.
Here's the one you want. They got a good swing.
40-30.
Yeah. I still like it though. I like that look.
I think it's a great observation.
So let's see if he returns this ball down the line, McNerney, if he can. Okay, but Anderson held. That's a great lob.
That's the type of movement you were talking about.
Yeah,
You want to see more on the ad court.
Yeah.
Any reason, Lisa, we're not seeing more of that from Blake Anderson?
I'm surprised. I mean, I'm new to him. This isn't watching him, but he's obviously a very consistent player. And any time that he's gotten that forehand look, he's hit it very well. And I'm surprised he's not doing more to set himself up for that, because in turn, it's still going to set up his partner. I mean, kudos to McNerney. He is hitting some pretty good screens, pretty good overheads.
But that clearly doesn't account for the lack of down-the-line lob.
No.
last 2 or 3 could have easily been hit down the line.
Right.
That one too.
Right.
Going to grow in cross court, and he's content to just take the ball and lob it back.
Yeah. There we go. There we go. Okay, but again, even though they didn't win that point right away, I like what they're doing.
See Irdoja always looking for that high spike. Every time he's always taking a step over, looking for that forehand.
Right.
So what do you think, Lisa? How's this point going to end?
Somebody's gonna drive something out.
A missed drive.
That's my guess.
Okay.
What do you think? How many balls?
See how dangerous it is going to that Irdoja corner. He's always moving over, looking to hit that forehand, and then he misses a relatively easy ball. That doesn't count as a drive.
No, unfortunately.
I'm not sure
Not
what
going
we
to Vegas.
characterize that shot as. It was kind of like a half lob.
Yeah, it was kind of a
It's
slob, as I like to
Irdoja's
call
serve.
those. Don't really know if it's a
Long
drive or a
point.
lob.
Czerwinkski was ready to serve that point, which would have
Yeah.
been interesting.
Yeah. The point was so long they forgot what was happening.
Advantage, Czerwinkski, McNerney.
Fault takes them to break point.
Yeah, well, this would be big. 3-2 is 4-1 is much better than 3-2.
Let me write that down, Lisa, so I don't forget it. And there it is.
Game,
Okay.
Czerwinkski, McNerney, they lead the second set 4-1.
Just so little flow and rhythm to the match. It's just, you know, they're hitting shots, they're doing what they're doing, but there's no continuity to it.
Yeah.
No one point relates to the next point, relates to the next point.
But again, they're still doing the same type of strategy, and it's
Yeah, you just don't see much of a strategy.
right. Well, whatever it is, it's the same. They're doing very similar things, and I think they need to start mixing it up a little bit more, both teams, to create some more offense. I'm not seeing a lot of offense in this match. So what's our time on this match? We've got
The match started around 6
6
o'clock.
o'clock. We're an hour and a half in.
124 and counting. You know, it's interesting, you see neither player in the left court or the backhand side, which is where a majority of the balls get hit by the right-handers, has made any attempt to generate a lot of offense.
Right.
They're just very content to let the ball go into their side wire and lob it again.
Right.
Irdoja and Czerwinkski have been the only ones really looking to create.
Great hands by McNerney at the net.
Out of nowhere, we
Tough.
see Anderson look for the backhand and
Right.
just rip a two-hander.
Right. Twice.
15, love.
Irdoja's missed some strange shots.
Like he's stuck in transition. Okay. 15 love. Okay. That was a nice lob down the line by Anderson. Oh, tried to create some offense there, Irdoja. Just that ball went slightly over his head. Okay.
40 love.
All right.
Game, Czerwinkski, McNerney, they lead the second set 5-1.
All right, there's some conversation by Anderson and Irdoja just to slow things down. They're down 5-1, so one serving 5 in that second set. It's a great blitz by McNerney. Kept that ball low. Making this movement. All right, we got some errors from Irdoja.
It's almost like he's checked out. We're going to have a very special guest starting the third set. His commentary in the match. Oh,
nice. Wow.
Love 40.
Just a triple set point.
$15-40.
Okay.
We want to be done with this set.
Game in first, second set.
They win the second set 6-1.
We'll be back in a moment after these messages right here on the APTA Network, presented by eNet Live.
At Amazon, we've got millions of toys and games to choose from this holiday for kids of all ages, with free shipping on over 100 million items. So visit Amazon and give a little love this holiday.
I'd like to welcome you back to the quarterfinal match. with Blake Anderson and McNerney, who won the first set 7-5 against Graham McNerney and Czerwinkski. They took the second set 6-1. We're about to start the third set of this quarterfinal match, but we have a special guest here. We have Johan du Randt, a 3-time national champion. Welcome, Johan.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You had some impressive matches today. It was very fun to watch, you and your partner. I think Stephen Mitchell, your partner, is newer to the game. He's been playing for how long?
He's played a little bit like 7 or 8 years ago. And then he's played for the last 2 years again, but he's obviously very talented and did a lot better. Not that he didn't play well today. He played pretty awesome, I thought.
Right, he played great.
You're obviously a terrific partner, Johan, and very encouraging. But any specific things you were telling Mitchell in terms of improving his play, where to hit the ball, how to play against those guys?
Yeah, I think you probably look for short overheads with those guys. They contact overhead generally high, you know. So I thought there we did pretty good. At the nets we could probably close in sometimes more, but most of the time, you know, the guy's got to figure it out himself. You tell him 1 or 2 things after the week, and he works on it. And so I have to work on 1 or 2 things. It's not too many things. It's just not going to do it.
Now, when you were first playing, who helped you learn the game, or did you just figure it out yourself?
You know, I think I had lots of guys that probably helped you. In the end, you got to figure it out. They give you some tips, but I think obviously the guy that without saying much taught me the most was probably Jerry Albrecht. You know, when I played with him, he wouldn't say much, but he would kind of just let me do my thing, and and eventually, if he doesn't make mistakes, you know, I got to stop making mistakes. So I got to figure it out. But I think he's probably been the guy that helped me the most without technically saying a lot of things to me.
I remember watching you guys play in the President's Cup in Philadelphia in 2010, and I can see you kind of experimenting with things. Tremendous shot from Blake Anderson.
Fantastic return.
But I could see you experimenting with things almost like you were learning on the go as President's Cup went on, and you just got better and better as the weekend went on, and you and Jerry ended up winning your first national championship.
Definitely, I think the President's Cup was a huge deal. I mean, if we didn't play together, we wouldn't have done that well. But President's Cup kind of made me feel confident and kind of understand what, you know, when to be offensive and when to kind of defend. So I think that was definitely a big help.
And this one-up, one-back style that you kind of innovated, all of a sudden we see the women playing it. It's getting more and more popular. It's fun to watch.
Which one-up, one-back?
Well, you play with Parsons for years, with Parsons kind of behind you and you're in the middle of the court.
Yeah, I think it helps. It all depends on how you hit your overheads. I think if you keep your overheads low, it's easier to play that style. If you hit them high, it's kind of hard because there's too many holes. But yeah, I think then you cover both parts of the court. Otherwise, you do the same job and it doesn't really work so well, in my opinion.
You guys won your last match, the backdoor match against LePivert.
Yeah, it was kind of a mess around by them a little bit, but we hung in there.
So you have one more match tomorrow for 5th place.
I think we'll probably be looking at going home and keep the family happy.
McNerney, they lead the third set.
And where are we going to see you guys again?
I think Boston Open is the next one. We might be playing one of Drew Broderick's. Oh, actually, yeah, Boston Open is the next one, actually.
And you'll be playing with Mitchell.
Yes,
as well.
yes. We play like 4 tournaments, 4 or 5, I think.
Okay.
That's
I guess if
Czerwinkski, McNerney, third set. So no Sound Shore, no Long Island Invitational?
I can't get away for that much. We're trying to play a little bit more in our own area and go for some tournaments. You know, we'd like to play more, but hey, you know, the work schedule makes it tough. You know, we got little kids, so we can't just leave whenever we want. But yeah, that's probably the deal.
Where are you a head pro director?
Say that again?
Where is your club? What is your club?
So I'm at the country club just outside Boston, and Stephen is at B&T, which is inside Boston, actually.
You've been there for how long?
Country club 2 years, and Stephen just started it's a couple months maybe.
So what are you seeing out here, Johan? Lisa and I were having a hard time picking out a strategy.
I think it seems I haven't been watching that much. I've been answering questions here, but I think I think Irdoja and Anderson are probably a little slower and steadier, you know, I think, but Marek and McNerney is probably gonna, it's kind of in their hands somewhat, it feels like, but yeah, we'll see what happens here. Let's watch a little bit more.
Haven't seen a lot of offense in this match at
30.
all.
I think they've been lobbing okay. I felt like Irdoja and Anderson wasn't really very deep lobs, so it's hard to make offense if you're constantly just getting it back instead of kind of making a deep high lob. I feel like all those lobs are okay, but I don't really see serious height on it, so it doesn't really help that much.
Right. And not moving it around that much either.
Yeah, there's not much time when they lob short, I think, but this is true.
Johan, any other thoughts from your match? A lot of fun to watch. I mean, really explosive pad, a lot of transition.
Yeah, we played well, I think. Like I said, I thought Mitchell played fantastic. I made a couple mistakes, and I think a couple small things. If he plays a little bit more, we're going to win some of those big points. You know, now we had a lot of opportunities we didn't really capitalize, and hey, some things we can improve, but I think we're going to just, it's early season for us. I thought we did actually better than I expected for the first time. So I think if we practice a little bit more and play a couple more times, he's going to improve a lot, and I'll play a little bit better too. But I think hopefully we're on the upswing, or that's what I'm going to tell myself.
It'd be hard pressed to believe anything else. I was really impressed with how well he played.
He just kind of gets it. He's a good athlete, and he kind of knows how to play doubles. So he kind of understands it, and he knows when to be patient actually and be aggressive. So he's been awesome at that.
Yeah, you could see him getting better throughout the match.
Yeah.
He made a few errors on his volleys first early on, and he just cleaned it up.
Well, the other thing too was he was struggling with the Irdoja spin, and then all of a sudden he figured that out.
Yeah.
And I think we played once in the wet weather actually against Irdoja and Morneau, me and him last year at Western New England. And he did great actually, because I didn't play that well that day. I think I got him in trouble a little bit, but in that wet weather he actually got a lot of it back, and again he got better and better. So I think figures out the spin, and he's going to get even better on the spin and get off more offensive.
Right.
And the volleys sometimes, we all do it. He's kind of run through them a little bit. That's why I missed a couple, but that's just a couple more times of play, and he's got that covered.
Right. Well, he even figured out his screens a little bit more as well.
Well, listen, Johan, it's great to have you back playing. That was just a lot of fun to watch, and it's always a pleasure seeing your dynamic style on the court.
That's nice of you to say. Well, I think these guys are probably losing a little bit here. If they get 2-0 down, it's tough in the third to come back, so they got to knuckle down a little bit. It's that first set or the third set, you really want to start off, just keep it close at least, or go ahead. But if you're ahead, it's tough to come back for Irdoja and Anderson. Yeah.
Irdoja's kind of left the building the last 25 minutes or so.
It is hard when you play, though. Even today we played, it's like to keep mentally, especially the points are that long, it's tough to keep it going mentally, and you settle into some kind of rhythm, so it's tough to mix it up. When you do, it works, but you got to really be conscious of not just kind of doing the same old thing, you know.
15 all.
And I feel like from the back there, they're not really doing anything, and they actually have good offense, but they might not be lobbing well enough, but it just seems flat, like you say.
And we've been surprised that Anderson hasn't been lobbing down the line a little bit, set up that big Irdoja forehand.
Let's see how many of the overheads from Marek and Graham is going to the corners. That means it's obviously short lobs, and that's really not going to lead to good lobs if you're constantly digging them out. So they got to lob a little bit better, and then they can start moving, but it seems like none of them are really doing that.
30-15. Very short lobs.
And all those are kind of inside the service box. There's a little bit better one.
Right.
And there was an opportunity to drive it, but you haven't driven for that long. Maybe it was worth a crack.
Right.
Yeah, Anderson is just
here
not
we go
presenting
again, yeah.
much offense over there.
They seem a little bit tight, but hey, if you're 2-0 down in the third, it's kind of hard to get really offensive.
I haven't seen that be a problem for you, Johan.
But then again, he had nothing to lose either.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I do get tight too, like everybody else. Maybe that's a sign of my tightness when I get more offensive.
It's a lot more fun to watch than lobbing
It
and lobbing
sure
and lobbing.
is. Your matches were very fun to watch.
See, there's good ones too. They lob it back and the guy's cutting the overhead, but there's no real looking like they want to drive it, you know, which is, hey, it might be 2-0 down. It's tough to take risks. You don't want to miss, but it looks like even that overhead coming in, they're a little bit tight on that side, which is normal.
Right.
Back to 30 all.
We were watching this play earlier where Czerwinkski's serving way out wide, and
yeah, he's got some good offense. He volleys obviously very well. He drives well. He's a good player. He's a very talented guy. I think McNerney's almost improved a lot. You know, his offense from the back probably can still improve, but he's got great volleys and kind of drop shots and all kinds of spins, which makes him effective at the net.
Right.
There's a great point. Maybe that'll ignite Anderson.
Point we've seen.
Yeah, they need something. I feel like Irdoja is a big forehand, but he hasn't hit it. He hasn't moved for it, and he can make offense with that backhand, but it's just not the same kind of offense.
But you're right. He really hasn't moved to try to find it either.
And Anderson, if I'm not mistaken, he likes the backhand better, but he's constantly in that corner, defending his corner, not really getting a chance to hit a backhand. But I haven't seen him play enough to be sure that I'm saying the right thing here.
Like,
they're all short. It's all just defense so far.
Well, Johan, I know when you and Mark Parsons first talked about playing, you told him you didn't want to play the way everyone else played. And you definitely changed the game in terms of style. Where do you see the game going in the next 10 years?
Yeah, I don't know he might have told you that. Maybe I said that. I can't remember. But the thing is, I didn't want to get stuck in the back. If I play with a guy, you know, I want to feel like we can actually be offensive at the back and get to the net. It doesn't mean at the net I'm going to go crazy. But if I'm at the back and I can make a drive, my partner can't, then they're just going to dump it to his side, you know. So I think that was a big deal for me, and that's why I like playing with him. And we played different, but he was a great partner for me, a great guy, you know, always very supportive. But I think in the future, it all depends. It sounds very bad, but it all depends on the APTA. You know, it depends what they do. They've got to get more good tennis players into it, because I think that's going to make the game more fun. You know, the more talent there is, the more these guys are going to get offensive. If we that doesn't mean the guys currently playing aren't talented. Obviously, there's a lot of great players, but the more there is of those guys, the more fun it's going to be to watch, and that's going to make the game grow. So, but I think it's got to be worth it for those guys to play on weekends and go away. You know, even for me, I love playing, but the last couple of years, it was kind of like, you know, I have a family. It's too difficult to play. You know, so it's not it's always about the money somewhat, but the point is, it was just so difficult to leave home and say, hey, I'm just going to go play paddle, and why am I kind of playing, you know? Right. So it's not because you didn't want to play, it's just it was just not worth it really at some point.
So money events, you think, are the next step in the game?
Hey, I don't think, you know, obviously it's always nice if we could make money out of this, but then there'll be a ton better players and we won't make money. That's fine, but I think that's what's going to make the game grow. If that doesn't happen, and I don't mind any good tennis players coming to whoop us, that's fine, you know, but that's really got to happen. If that doesn't happen, it's going to get stale again, and it's going to be a little bit slow and boring, and sometimes, you know. So I think that's going to come, but looks like they're on the right track, the APTA, and if they keep at it, I think it's going to be successful.
Interesting observations. Can't say
I think a lot of
I disagree with anything.
Yeah, a lot of the guys that I mean, I know a lot of good tennis players. Doesn't mean the other guys don't, but I think that makes a huge difference, you know. Lots of them I played with, and they're like, well, kind of, why are you doing it? You know, I did it when I was bored as a hell, you know. I was single, I came to the States, I didn't have anything to do, so it was great for me to play, you know. I had nothing better to do on the weekends. I didn't care about if I make money or something, I just wanted to have fun. But now, when I have more responsibilities, it's not that easy to just get away and play.
And what is your tennis background?
Well, I played a little professional tennis too. I was like 330 or something in singles and 220 in doubles.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, back in the day when I could still move around.
Yeah, we noticed you were really having problems moving today.
Yeah, Stevie lapped me a couple times on a couple balls there.
Good read by McNerney, but he
yeah.
misses it.
30,
See, it's hard for Irdoja and Anderson to be real offensive at net now too, because they don't really have a little playroom. They're constantly thinking of not making errors, which is normal for a 2-1 down in the third. There's no more third set and no more mess around room, if that makes sense.
Right.
The margin of error has been shrunk.
You got it.
It was wide.
They keep it
Deuce.
They keep it simple. They might be back in this because those guys start taking cracks like that. They
Right.
might be in trouble. There we go now. Now it looks like we might have a little bit of a
Irdoja.
game.
Yeah. All right. Advantage Anderson and Toria.
A big point.
Yeah, it's a big point.
That's it. And all of a sudden, when you get a little lead, people start moving and things start happening a little bit, you know. But now, that's the hard mental part, you know. You want to just do enough, but not too much, and that's what constantly is the battle in this game.
Yep, that's the fine line.
See, all of a sudden, the lob's a little better, and they got a little
Deuce.
confidence, but they miss one, but at least something's happening.
Right. He hasn't seen a lot of forehand drives this whole match, so I'm sure he is a little bit tight.
Yeah.
But all the more reason he should have been swinging earlier in
He
the
should
match.
have been.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's all easy when you start well. I said to Mitchell the same thing today. We started well with 2-0 up, and then we lose like 4 games, you know. But as soon as we're 2-0 up, we can run away with it a little bit if we could just keep it together for a 3 or 4-1 or something. But as soon as we go set down, you know, it just becomes a little
Advantage,
tighter, so it's tough to
Czerwinkski,
take that much
McNerney.
risk.
It's definitely a lot easier to play the game from in front.
Yeah, of course, every game like that really, but that's easiest way to get there is not that easy, but
Game, Czerwinkski,
Nice when you're there.
McNerney. They lead in the third set, 3 games.
Anderson had that high forehand for
Yeah.
2-all. He missed it, and now they're down a break
3
again.
quick
That's
points,
it.
and thought we were going to be at 2-all.
it looks like they got a little bit more energy. Sometimes you get just a little bit back into it, go through a mental lapse, or you know, even physically you just feel a little bit flat. It's a long day of paddle too.
Sure is.
Love 15.
We actually played a practice match for fun against McNerney and Marek
15
yesterday evening, because we haven't really played ever. Oh, we've played a couple times, but we haven't played for like a year together, me and Mitchell. So it was kind of fun. But yeah, I think Marek's got obviously great offense, and McNerney is very good at the net, and he's kind of tricky with his lobs and his chips. But if I was playing this match, I would probably, if I'm at net, just play more to his side, you know, because he doesn't have the same offense that Marek has off the ground. But then they're a good team because he obviously makes more of the overheads. He's got a little bit more junk and stuff on him.
I was saying to Mark earlier, I would almost like to see Marek play that ad side.
I think that they played against us like that, but there must be a reason for them to change, because I don't really get the change, because I think
30,
Marek has a
15.
great forehand, so he can cover more space there with his forehand towards the middle. But I think the other thing is Marek drives the forehand really well, but he doesn't really, when we played him, maybe it was just that night, he didn't really move as much and make it as difficult for you, because he's got a scary forehand, but you kind of got to hit it to his forehand before he's going to hit it.
Okay.
And I think it's definitely
40,
better
15.
if I was coaching them, I would say the same thing.
But the third one of those that Anderson's missed.
Yeah.
40-15.
That's a little bit like flatness. The feet is a little bit slow, and it's a shot you don't miss. It's just because you're a little bit not moving that well, I think.
What do you think stopped Czerwinkski from taking the next step, Johan? He's been to several quarterfinals.
Great
and
question.
nationals.
I think he's super talented. I think, and I've watched him a couple of years, and I played him the first time, and I'm like, Jesus, this guy's good. But then watch him a year later, and he seemed like he was kind of And then I watched him a year or two later, and he kind of looked like the same, and he hit kind of the overheads that I thought maybe he would have figured out, especially being in Chicago. But now it looks like he's a lot better. I think he's got to get more offensive, you know.
Wow, that's a great
I just chatted to Gambino. Gambino's awesome coach and keeping you quiet, and I think Gambino's probably been to Czerwinkski what Albrights has kind of been to me. But I think that helped him a lot. But now he's got to come out of his shell a little bit, you know. He's got a lot of game, but he's got to do something instead of just kind of play too safe, if that makes sense.
Game, Czerwinkski, McNerney.
Yeah, his overheads are interesting. They're a little bit stiff armed, as you see from a new player, and he's never kind of evolved into a little bit looser with the arm.
He can put some junk on it, but it looks like he's very controlled, and he doesn't really give it his all on the overhead. But hey, he's still very effective, and he's had some great results, so he's a great player.
Yeah, he's been banging on the door. They had that epic match at Philadelphia a couple years ago. Roderick Palmer, that Lisa and I talked about earlier.
Great match.
Yeah, he's just smooth. He can volley really well. He drives well. You know, there's not much that he does badly.
Do you think the matchup with Irdoja is one of the reasons he's playing the deuce court today?
That might make some sense because McNerney can probably do more with the overheads, I guess, but I still don't think it makes sense. It's really more what you do on the baseline, you know. I mean, I think Graham is very good, he's got good hands, so if Irdoja does all those spins, I think Graham can handle it just as well as Marek. But yeah, maybe it makes sense. I mean, if they hit overheads, but he could still cut it to the middle to his backhand.
So nice.
I would still have it the other way if I think about that, but that's probably a good answer.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we have not seen more moving to his left from McNerney to set up the forehand. I mean, similar to Anderson.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Hey, maybe I don't know something that they do, but even when we played him, I felt like he's kind of in the same spot on the baseline, so you can avoid him if you want to. And if he moves a little bit more, it's not that he's slow. He can do that really well. But I thought that he could probably do well. But I should probably not talk too much about this. I got to play him again at some point.
He's going to review.
Maybe not till Boston.
Great control. Oh, that's
crazy offense, but it's working.
I think they're just, let's just do something.
Yeah.
Looked like you're back to a match there for a couple of shots.
Okay, we've got Czerwinkski in the.
It's all this fancy tactics, but I think in the end, you've got to set it up with a good lob. If you don't set it up with a good lob, and that's what I think they're really not doing as well as they could. If they lob better, they wouldn't have this crazy offense. Hey, I've been there. I do it all the time. But if you play more and you get the feel for the lobs and you lob well, it makes the offense so much easier.
It is amazing with all the talent we have in the game and all the shot making that so much of it still comes down to lobbing well.
Anderson,
never going to change.
Yep.
Czerwinkski, McNerney
that
lead
was
4
a
games
bit
to
of a
2
loose
in
game,
the third
but
set.
We're still
Sometimes
ahead
a little crazy game is good, and then just play normal again afterwards. You break the momentum a little bit, but don't keep going crazy because that's going to be a 5-2 right there.
I like that. I like to stay crazy for a little bit longer sometimes.
Again, I feel like all that's just service box, digging out the corner. It's not going to end up too well. I mean, I haven't seen them move out the service line at all.
Well, there's one.
That's one. Good. And that's the other thing. I guess we all do it. I did it a couple times today. You're in transition, you get an overhead. You just hit it deep down the middle, you know. You start doing stuff with it, it just gets you in trouble. You're moving too fast. If you're sitting on top of the net, you can do something, otherwise keep it simple.
Right. Well, you are on top of the net when you play.
Try to be at the right time.
Right.
30
Hands are
love.
so fast.
It only works when you're on top of the net. If you're off the net, it's kind of hard.
It's a little scary, though, sometimes to be that close to the net with some of those drives coming at you.
Scary or intimidating, a little bit of both.
Temperatures dropping down below 50 for the first time today.
30-15.
See
Some of their breath coming out. It's nice, a little powder weather.
You also see Irdoja driving, but he's not really
No,
going after it, you know. But he can't, because it's not really high enough balls to drive. But again, I'm going to say the same thing. If they don't lob better, there's no chance of them really getting good offensive opportunities. That's a better lob. But then,
and what you're watching for, just for the people out there, you're watching for McNerney and Czerwinkski to have their feet beyond the service line. Right?
Yeah, and then you try and get a position, and obviously you're looking for a shorter overhead, because then you can really do something with it. Or even apply a little pressure and force them to hit it shorter, right? Because they can't hit a winner from back there. So that's the goal generally, and the depth is important, but the height's equally important, probably more important, because then they can't get it low in the screens, and you can really even make some screen offense.
30-40.
A little momentum shift here, you think, Mark?
Chance to get back on serve.
Yeah.
A couple of donations this game from Czerwinkski.
So it was a big game, 7th game of the set.
That doesn't look like a really effective lob. It's just putting it up. I don't know what Jerry says, but lobbing with a purpose, isn't that one of the lines? It's pretty much what it comes down to. It just seems like they're trying to survive instead of really think, hey, how can we get out of this hole a little bit somehow?
There's been very little purpose.
That's better.
Done.
But yeah, it was a good overhead though.
Deuce.
Back to deuce.
Yeah.
This is a big game for both teams.
Big point.
Just passing the 2-hour mark.
It's funny, I mean, if you're watching at home, we always teach and we talk so much about on the lobs, using your legs. These guys are like, maybe they're tired, whatever, you know, but they're standing so upright on their lobs. It's not really going to get them high if you don't use your legs. So if you use your legs and get them high, that's going to lead to offense. A couple quality lobs is way more important than 10 iffy lobs, if that makes sense.
Oh, tremendous get from Anderson.
Try to get all my ladies to bend down a little bit more. Not an easy thing.
The other thing I said, Mark Fischel just said a good thing. As soon as you start making tremendous gets, you're losing.
Any different mentality, Johan, on the big points than the rest of the points?
Yeah, I always say at our club, I say if I've got a break point up, meaning somebody's serving, I try to be more offensive, because then I want to take it from them. But I feel like if I'm break point down, I try to make them take it from me. So I think it's a good teaching tip, because everybody, when it's tight and stuff, you gotta back yourself and go for it. You know, then just making the ball is not good enough. But if you're down, making the ball can be good, because people will push, will press a little bit, and just making the ball could be a good idea. But when the chips are against you, you got to go for it sometimes a little bit on break points on someone else's serve. Not hit for the lines is not what I'm saying, but go for offensive return down the middle to a big part of the court is normally a safe idea. You can't get tempted if you kind of tap it there.
Interesting thought process.
I like that.
That's your golfing thing, Mark. If you got the lead, I wouldn't say you want to
Anderson,
defend it all the
Irdoja.
time, but you got to not make mistakes. And if it's getting close and you got to make a shot, sometimes you got to kind of back yourself. You'll see that in all the majors, all the guys that won a good one, they kind of at some point went for it instead of just play it safe all the time.
You're right.
It's that old adage, fortune favors the bold.
That's it.
It's
Right
gonna be
now,
bold
we'll
out
need
here.
right now, we'll need some boldness out of
Right.
Anderson or Irdoja.
Yeah.
I feel sometimes if you're playing like that too, there's if you feel like your partner's not feeling it, you kind of got to step up and try and do something, and you'll make him better. But if you both do the same kind of tight game, it's just not happening, you know. But there we go.
Okay.
A little bit, just
Nick's
make
getting
something happen a little bit, and you can get out of there. But
Right.
it just gets him a little bit more flustered. And again, I mean, how many times have you seen these guys? These guys are like, if we were to paint a graphic, these guys are in the service box just controlling things
Right.
all the time. So if Irdoja and Anderson doesn't get to the net, they're going to be in trouble.
Put that ball wherever they want.
Yep.
A lot of bad lobs that point.
Yep.
Ultimately, they paid for it.
Advantage, Czerwinkski, McNerney.
Again, kind of okay footwork, a little tentative, eh? I've done it too, but that's what happens when you're down a little bit.
Wasn't
think
really
they're
committed
tired.
to the swing,
Exactly, yeah.
Like you said, they could be very tired. This is a long day.
Oh, yes.
It's 8 o'clock at night right now.
I'm assuming
Whoa.
they've had a couple long matches too.
That was an angry
Game,
forehand.
Czerwinkski, McNerney. They lead the third
Wonder if it
set,
touched
5
some
games to 2.
hair on his head. Well, that was a big game. That was.
Yeah, now it's hard to come back. I mean,
Yeah.
paddle, you always got a shot and you got to keep fighting, but it's a long way.
Sure do.
Some things got to work your favor. A couple lead courts.
Yeah, it comes down to that. We were talking about that earlier, that sometimes we get those tight points, and it's a lot of luck.
Yes.
Some lucky points. Sometimes you need that.
Especially given the margins, everybody's hitting the ball right over the net. Everybody's standing very close to the net.
Right.
All right, let's see
Let's
if
see
these
what
guys with the
happens.
backs against the wall can kind of bring it up a
So
little
you're
bit, and the
gonna-
other guys maybe get a little tight. We'll see what happens.
You'd bring it up a notch right here, Johan.
If you're on the other
15.
side, I think you're really meaning Anderson or Irdoja. You really want to make them work for
Yes.
it now, you know, and not really give them cheap points.
Right,
And those guys, they want to be offensive, you know.
right. Oh, gosh.
And okay, this is
Love
two
30.
sloppy points, but hey,
Yeah.
I think Czerwinkski saw his
easy from
light
here.
flash
Right.
before his eyes there for a second.
You're drinking your beer. It's easy from
Exactly.
here.
At least I haven't missed a volley all day.
yeah.
We're amazing.
And now they're doing some funny stuff,
15,
but
30.
that one worked.
Right.
Good screenplay.
All right. 15:30.
2 points from the match.
Oh,
Now they're going
well,
for like
double
cheap
match.
serves too. You know, you gotta just
I
make them
think
sweat it out.
they look-
Give them a chance to get nervous at least. Seems
Match
like
point.
like a give up.
He went big on that return.
Yeah.
Why not? There you
And
go.
there it is. Game,
That's a
set,
good match.
match. Czerwinkski,
Game,
McNerney,
7
5-7,
match.
6-1,
Czerwinkski,
6-2.
McNerney.
Johan, any closing thoughts on the
Win,
match?
5-7, 6-1,
I think
6-2.
the best thing is you've got to, in the third set, I didn't see the first 2 sets really, but in the third set you got to stay close. And Irdoja and Anderson was probably behind all the time, so it's kind of nervy to lob deep and all that stuff. But in the end, your legs go first when you get tight, so better footwork probably would have helped the lobs, and that's really what it comes down to in the end. Then the offense would improve. But
Well, Johan,
great
I
match.
Really appreciate you joining us. I can't say you're as good a commentator as you are as a player, but that's a pretty high bar.
I think he did
That's
a pretty
all
good
good.
job.
Okay, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for the men's semifinals right here on the APTA Network, presented by eNet Live. And that's a wrap, presented by Uline.